When you're standing on a job site with a pile of plans in one hand and a stack of tools in the other, the biggest question you'll ask yourself is whether the laser you're about to buy will actually stay level when the wind picks up. Keep its accuracy after you walk a few hundred feet and still be simple enough that you don't have to spend the morning calibrating it. That hesitation is what makes me pause before I click Add to Cart. I want a device that won't waste my time, that just works the way the spec sheet promises, and that fits the budget of a small to medium contractor or a serious DIYer. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Leica R620 with the RE140 receiver is positioned as a workhorse rotary laser for concrete forming, footings, and any kind of rough grading where you need a reliable reference line over a large area. It's not marketed as a tiny tabletop level for cabinetry. It's built to span up to 2,600 feet, self-level on the spot, and give you a single-axis slope up to 8%. Those numbers sound impressive, but what they really mean on a typical construction day is that you can set it up once on a tripod, walk the entire perimeter of a foundation, and still have a straight line that's within a 1/16 of an inch at 100 feet. For a crew that's laying a concrete slab, that can be the difference between a level floor and a patch job later. I've spent the last few weeks watching a handful of site crews test a couple of rotary lasers, and the consistent pain point is the laser losing its level after a bump or a gust. The R620 tries to solve that with a built-in self-leveling mechanism that automatically corrects up to 8 degrees of tilt. In practice, you place the unit on a tripod, turn it on, and give it a few seconds to lock in. If a crew member accidentally nudges the tripod, the laser will readjust without you having to manually relevel. That feature alone cuts down on the back and forth you normally see when a line drifts after a few hours of work. The companion RE140 receiver, often called the Rotary, is a classic handheld that snaps onto a steel rod. The receiver picks up the laser signal and displays the offset in real time, so you can walk away from the laser and still know exactly how far you're above or below the reference line. For concrete formwork, that means a worker can stand at the far edge of a slab, check the reading, and adjust the form without having to crawl back to the laser every few minutes. The combination of a long-range laser and a portable receiver makes the kit practical for jobs that cover a whole lot, not just a single room. Now, let's talk about the trade-offs. First, the power source. The R620 uses a cell alkaline battery holder rather than a rechargeable lithium pack. Alkaline cells are cheap and easy to replace, but on a hot day they can drain faster than you'd like, especially if you run the laser for several hours straight. You'll probably want a spare set of batteries in the toolbox, which adds a small recurring cost. If you're used to swapping out batteries on other tools, it won't be a surprise, but it's a factor to weigh against the convenience of a rechargeable system. Second, the laser class. This is a Class I device, limited to a 1 milliwatt output. That level is safe for the eyes in most outdoor conditions, but it also means the beam isn't as bright as a higher class laser when you're working in low light or over very long distances. In dense fog or heavy dust, the line can become harder to see, and you might need a pair of laser-enhancing glasses, which is an extra expense. For most concrete or earthwork projects, you'll be out in daylight, so it isn't a deal breaker, but it's worth noting if you ever need to use it in dim conditions. Third, the accuracy claim, 1/16 inch CH at 100 feet. That's solid for a rotary laser in this price range, but the tolerance does widen as you get farther out. In real life, if you're marking a footings line that runs the full 2,600 feet, you'll see a slight drift at the far end. Most contractors accept that because they'll double-check critical points with a tape measure or a level. If you need sub-millimeter precision for a specialty installation, say, setting a high-end tile pattern, this laser may not be the best fit. So who should walk away with this kit? If you run a small to medium-sized construction business, do regular concrete pours, or are a serious DIYer who tackles large-scale projects like a driveway, a deck foundation, or a garden retaining wall, the R620 plus RE140 gives you the range and reliability you need without forcing you into the high-end laser market. The self-leveling function and the long-range receiver make the day-to-day layout faster, and the price point sits comfortably between the entry-level models that lose level.